Dear Stefano Allesina, I'm glad you're curious to the science of nepotism, and I'm happy to answer with my experience. First, I have to say, a few years ago I had a PhD offer by an English university, but the professors in the photo of my graduation ceremony did not confirm my university degree with grades and made me do the figure of the forger. Of course, I have reported this, and also the European Commission has sent a report to the Tribunal in Milan. But the prosecutors of the Republic of the belpaese throw the reports in the bin in order to defend the primacy of their culture, the same cultural primacy of Mussolini, and similarly of Mussolini, today they continue cancelling and vanishing people, like their grandpa did. You are free to believe or not, but the numbers are clear and transparent, indisputable, incontrovertible, and to understand the problem is only a matter of intellectual honesty and conscience.
È questione di onestà intellettuale e di coscienza.
Dear Stefano Allesina, a few years ago I also did a similar research, but unlike yours, my curiosity was addressed to the cultural value of nepotism and not the instance of the faces representing the sample of this intellectual elite,
Di questa elite intellettuale.
Dear Stefano Allesina, to explain the point, I have few easy questions. In order to clarify the situation even better than the analysis of the frequency of the names could do. In addition, I also have reliable data compelling with their signature on it. First, as a premise, I must point out the textbooks of all the Italian schools of all levels, including all the institutes of Italian culture from all the universities of the planet, including Harvard, Yale, Oxford and Cambridge.
Nei testi della scuola.
In all the school books, Italian style, you can read black and white that the Renaissance culture is glory and pride of the Italian intellectual tradition, and you can also read that Italy is the privileged place, the motherland of the Renaissance culture, the place where the Renaissance culture found its ultimate expression. You can see Michelangelo, for example. Dear Stefano Allesina, on the premise of this no sense, printed black and white in the school books Italian style, I wish someone could answer a few easy, very easy questions.
Domanda numero 1.
Question 1.
La cultura del
The Renaissance culture was a revolution against the oppression of the Catholic tradition. It was a movement for the intellectual emancipation from the Catholic culture and tradition, including the habit of the indulgency, nepotism and simony. The Renaissance culture was made of Catholic heresy, blasphemy, persecuted by the Catholic Inquisition, starting from the freedom of conscience to have a personal opinion in philosophy, cosmology, science, art.
Mi chiedo,
I wonder, how did the Catholic heresy turn out to be Catholic legacy? How did the Catholic heresy turn up intellectual legacy for the most Catholic civilization of the planet? Starting from the freedom of conscience to have a personal opinion in philosophy, cosmology, science, art.
What I want is 2, 6 and 2 is 8. Come on, baby, don't you make me laugh. Baby, don't you wanna go?
Domanda numero 2.
Question 2.
Al tempo del Rinascimento,
At the time of the Renaissance in Italy was the Counter-Reformation and the Catholic Inquisition. I wonder, how did the Renaissance culture turn up intellectual legacy of the persecutors of the Renaissance culture? Starting from the freedom of conscience to have a personal opinion in philosophy, cosmology, science, art. Starting from the very same reasons that have divided Europe for ages, since the end of the Dark Ages. Dear Stefano Allesina, the national culture is well documented in the school textbooks, and this national value well include the habit of simony and nepotism. Furthermore, have to notice that all the ranks of the entire intellectual class share this value. Whatever is the name of the individuals, and this value are common with the journalist, whatever is the name, the prosecutors, whatever is the name, and the politician, whatever is the name. This is probably the reason why, unlike yours, my search didn't find any interest from the news Il Corriere della Sera. The Corriere has survived Mussolini, and like every well-educated Italian, they fully share the value of the national culture and meritocracy. Remains incontrovertible. The textbooks are printed black and white, complete with ISBN. And there is no track, no trace. Anyone has ever asked to explain the contradiction of the Catholic revisionism, transforming the Catholic heresy into Catholic legacy. There is no track, no trace, just a little of smoke. Dear Stefano Allesina, how did the democratic value turn up to be Catholic legacy? Starting from the freedom of conscience to have a personal opinion in philosophy, cosmology, science, art. Starting from the very same reasons that have been dividing Europe for ages, since the end of the Dark Ages.
E visto che si parla
And since the point is the same cultural primacy of Mussolini, I wonder if it was a miracle or the democratic continuation of the Holocaust. What is the probability? Nobody has ever asked to explain this confusion out of hundreds of millions of people in 8 years of history. No one, apparently, has ever asked how did the democratic value turn up to be Catholic legacy. I wonder if the Italian population truly belonged to the brain damage sample of the population of humankind, or what. I'd like to know who is to pass the exams at school, natural idiots or Catholic mobsters and tormentors. I wonder, to pass the exams at school, was necessary to be Catholic, or brain damage may be sufficient. And since the point in discussion is the same cultural primacy of Mussolini, I wonder if it was a miracle, or the democratic continuation of the Holocaust. I like to know, beside the Catholic democracy, what democrat may share these democratic ideals, imposing this insanity as national standard.
una insanità mentale come standard.
For consistency, I would like to know if the President of the Italian Republic, Giorgio Napolitano, would have the courage to go to the University of Copernico and Luther to explain that the Renaissance culture is the intellectual legacy of the most Catholic civilization of the planet. I would like to know if the President has this courage only to the Italian students, demonstrating the respect he has for himself, for Italy, for the Italian students, and, above all, for the democratic values.
Concludo ricordando che la Cappella Sistina.
Concluding, I like to remind that the Sistine Chapel is a fake, another rip-off Italian style. In fact, Michelangelo, in accordance with the Renaissance culture, has painted all the gods naked, in order to represent God in the image of man and not the opposite way around, in order to represent that God is a human projection, a creation of man. The original paintings of Michelangelo have been censored at the time of the Renaissance, when Michelangelo was still alive, and the Sistine Chapel is a fake, a plagiarism of the original. I wonder what a state of conscience could honestly confuse the Michelangelo style and culture with the style and culture of the Catholic Inquisition at the time of Michelangelo.
Con lo stile e la cultura dell'Inquisizione cattolica al tempo di Michelangelo.
With best regards, Luca Benatti.